Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 4th Annual Global Cleft Con, a conference by and for the Cleft community. We are so honored to be here today and welcome everybody worldwide. Before we jump into our jam-packed schedule, we'd like to take a minute to introduce ourselves and share some helpful tips to help you maximize your time. My name is Jessie Williams. I'm coming to you live from Springfield, Illinois. I am a registered nurse and a director of nursing operations at a health system here in Springfield. When I'm not working, my most proud moment is to be a mom to my 2 kids, Case, who is 9, and my daughter, Brennan, 8, who is cleft affected. She was born with the unilateral cleft lip and palate, and I never knew 8 years ago that I would be doing this work today, and I'm so blessed and honored. When I'm not at work or taking care of my kids, we're watching dance and hockey and just really having a good time spending time together with family. I'm really excited to be here today, and I'm excited to introduce my co-MC, Eric Bodo.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Jessie. Just so everyone gets to know me a little bit, my name is Eric Bodo. I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. I am a proud member of the CCAC Board of Smile Train. I'm happily married with 2 daughters living in the Chicago suburbs. I'm a practicing trial attorney working in Chicago. And when I'm not busy in court, I'm working as a lead guitarist and vocalist for a blues rock band. So I'm really excited to be here today. And it's wonderful to see everybody from all around the world. It's very exciting. So we're looking forward to a great event.
Thanks, Eric. Yes, I remember meeting you at Cleft Con Chicago a couple years ago with the Cleft Community Advisory Council. Such a great council to be on. Well, we will be your MCs for the event, and you'll see us pop up throughout the day. We're looking forward to experiencing this special program alongside all of you.
Now, in addition to our fantastic sessions, we have many ways for all of you to personally engage with the community throughout the afternoon. You'll find game challenges that lead you all around the platform. Follow the challenge instructions, enter the passcodes, and see how fast you can climb the leaderboard. Can you gain the coveted Cleft Con Gamer badge? Now, new challenges are released throughout the day, so make sure you come back to check them out.
Some sessions I'm most excited about today are Raising Resilient Kids, I Am Resilient, and Kids Superheroes, where we're going to hear from some of the best superheroes out there. I also wanted to call out, as you can see on the agenda, we have discussion sessions dedicated to live community building. Be sure to join us. A special feature available this year is the option of closed captioning. When you're watching a session, you will see a CC with a drop-down option to choose your preferred language. Please keep in mind it is using AI technology, so we know it's not a perfect solution. You may also experience a short delay as a result.
See, now we're just practicing the short delay you may experience. We're now oriented, all of us, to experiencing a short delay. Now, of course, we hope that everyone has a seamless technological experience today. We know, however, that sometimes issues pop up, like short delays. If possible, we recommend participating in Global Cleft Con on a computer using Google Chrome. You're welcome to reach out to us at our live help desk on the left-hand side of the screen, where we will have live text support available. Now, I'd like to introduce Susanna Schaefer, President and CEO of Smile Train, who will officially kick off Cleft Con 2023. Welcome, Susanna.
Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Jessie. Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Schaefer, President and CEO of Smile Train, and it is my absolute privilege to welcome you to our 4th annual virtual Global Cleft Con. I could not be more excited to be here with you all and to build on the success and momentum of our most recent in-person Cleft Con in New York City. Can I get a quick show of hands of anyone who joined us in New York back in July? Just couldn't get enough, could you? And another show of hands, please, of how many of you are joining us here for your first ever Cleft Con. Well, whether this is your first time or you consider yourself a Cleft Con connoisseur, my sincere thanks to you all for joining us this weekend. Cleft Con is truly a one-of-a-kind gathering. It is a space unlike any other for us to build community with others who have lived it or learned it, or who generally just get it. Cleft Con is the conference by and for the Cleft community. And I think there is something extra special about Cleft Con. And it's why is because it's virtual and it's global. And in that, it allows us to reach beyond our borders and oceans and across geographies, cultures, and time zones. Whether you were born with a cleft or one of your friends or loved ones was, whether you work or volunteer in cleft care or otherwise involved in the cleft space, we all come together today as one global cleft proud family. We have a full schedule planned, filled with speakers, discussions, and opportunities to connect with each other and to make new friends. So much like cleft care itself, a Cleft Con requires a team effort. And I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the speakers, the moderators, community partners, and volunteers who have dedicated their time to making this event a success. And now, before we begin, I have one request for all of you, and that's for myself included. It's a request I've made at past Cleft Cons, and it's an important one. I ask that we all make ourselves vulnerable here. I know that many of us have spent our whole lives trying not to be seen, to be seeming awkward, and that it can be pretty uncomfortable to be open yourself. But opening ourselves up is being vulnerable with people you don't even know yet. So in truth, we're really not strangers. We've all come together here as a community of people who are either cleft affected ourselves or have dedicated ourselves to fighting for this cause. So let's promise ourselves to not hold back today. Everyone here is rooting for you. Everyone here wants to see your face and to hear your voice. So keep those cameras on and speak when you want to and share when you want to. It's why we're here, to share, to learn, and to bond. So let's embrace a little bit of awkward and dive in fully with open hearts and open minds. Our theme this year is resilience. Honestly, I can't think that anything could be more a fitting theme for this year. It's the first word that comes to mind when I think of our worldwide family of cleft champions. Grit, persistence, and the ability to get back up is in this community's DNA. Resilience is at the core of who we are and why we are here today. Our keynote speaker today knows this resilience well. Jeremy Shipp is a writer on Disney's branded television animated series, Firebuds. And it's about the heroic adventures of children of first responders and their talking vehicle sidekicks. Even more importantly, he's a father. Inspired by his son, Henry, who was born with cleft lip and palate, Jeremy wrote the episode Cleft Hood, which introduced a national audience of kids to Castor, a vehicle born with a cleft hood voiced by Henry himself. Previously, Jeremy was part of the Emmy Award-winning writing team on Disney Channel's Rapunzel's Tangled Adventures. With over a decade of experience as a writer for animation, his additional credits include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Family Tools, and Dinotrux. Jeremy, I'm going to let you take it from here. And thank you all again for being here. Thanks so much.
Hi there, my name is Jeremy Shipp. I'm a writer. I currently write on Disney Junior's show Firebuds. In March of 2011, I took this video. It was about 5 months into my wife's first pregnancy. Now, during this video, my doctor found something, and he wanted to tell us what it was, but he calmly waited until I stopped filming. And when I did, he told me that my son, Henry Bennett Shipp, would be born with a cleft lip and palate. In that moment, I had no idea what that would mean for our child or for our life. But I knew that no matter what, my son would turn out beautifully. And this is Henry today, giving this speech with me.
Hey, everyone.
You're going to hear from him in a moment, but first going back to that time in 2011 when we heard about Henry's cleft, what I didn't mention was that I was terrified to hear the news. Now, to be clear, I was already terrified. The idea of becoming a parent was, for me, jumping out of a plane scary. Or, if I were my 14-year-old mini dachshund, as scary as literally hearing any noise. In the first year of Henry's life, we all had to experience, and by all I mean me, my wife, Elizabeth Shipp, and of course Henry, two separate, rather nerve-inducing moments where we handed him over to a surgical team. First to repair his lip, and then his palate. While he was probably too young to make lasting memories, I honestly believe his subconscious was recording everything very carefully. He did not want to be taken away from us. And these two surgeries gave Henry, and I checked with him, I'm allowed to talk about this, a sort of pre-packaged fear of hospitals. Now, why am I talking about this at a speech for Cleft Con? Because the story of my son's cleft has made me think, what is life like for him? I write on a Disney Junior show called Firebuds about the kids of first responders who live, work, and play with their rescue vehicles. Not long after I got the job, I pitched an idea for a story, for an episode, called Cleft Hood, about a car with a cleft. The creator of the show, Craig Gerber, to his credit, instantly approved the idea. I wrote the episode. I think it came out well. But then the question arose, who would voice Castor, the kid car with a cleft? I wanted someone who had the lived experience of a cleft, and someone recommended my son. So I asked Henry if he wanted to audition for the part, and I'll let Henry take it from here. Everyone meet my son, Henry Bennett Shipp.
Hello. I'm excited to be here. And a little nervous. And being nervous is what I wanted to talk about. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is that when we share our stories and when we share our feelings, especially the hard feelings, we feel less alone. And that makes us stronger. When Dad asked me if I wanted to audition for a role of Castor, I was nervous. But I said yes. We recorded the audition, and this is a little bit of it. You remind me of my mommy. She loves Dr. Portia, too.
Where is your mommy?
Filling out paperwork. I remember how nervous I was recording that audition. I'm 12 years old now, and I already feel like I'm a pro at being nervous. I wanted to tell you about a few other times I felt that way. Besides now, I was nervous about breaking a board in Taekwondo. It turns out, Taekwondo just wasn't my thing. And here's one of the reasons why.
You can do it, Henry. Do it. Go, Henry. Go, Henry.
I could not break this freaking board for my life. And each time I couldn't break it, I got more and more nervous. I got so overwhelmed that the instructor had to take me to the corner to encourage me. I remember going in for another surgery in 2017. They were going to take bone from my hip, crush it up, and put pieces of it into my palate. Here I am, waiting for them to put me to sleep. If this isn't a picture of being nervous, I don't know what is. 2 years ago, I went to a school place called Camp Ocean Pines. They had something called a goggleball pit. It's for a game called goggleball. It was invented in Israel, and it's kind of like dodgeball. It's a lot of fun. Later, a school council member came to one of my Cub Scout meetings, and she told us that if there's anything we wanted to fight for in our school, then we could give a speech to the school board. I decided I wanted to fight for a goggleball pit in my school. I was vice president of my school at the time, so it was up to me to give this speech. I remember driving to the school board to give this speech, and I was so nervous. Just like I was nervous when I learned that, I got the part of Castor, and I was driving to a sound studio about to record my voice for a Disney show.
So how did Henry do? See for yourself.
Hi, has Dr. Portia arrived at the hospital yet?
No, Dr. Portia's always late.
You know Dr. Portia?
Uh-huh. She's done lots of operations on my cleft.
What's that?
That's this thingy right here. And today's my very last operation. When Dr. Portia's done repairing my cleft, I'll look like this. Same Castor, new smile. That's my name, Castor.
So nice to meet you, Castor. It must be so amazing to be Dr. Portia's patient. I'm her biggest fan. That's why I'm here, to meet her. I'm Axel, by the way.
You remind me of my mommy. She loves Dr. Portia, too.
Where is your mommy?
Filling out paperwork. It takes a while, but Anya keeps me company. My parents got her for me last year because I was in the hospital and I couldn't go to the carnival with my friends. But this year, I'm going to go and win Anya a big sister.
I think Henry did pretty great, don't you? And I also wanted to highlight another star of that scene, Anya, Castor's doll. This was inspired by Henry's Cleft doll, Anya. Here is the real Anya. Henry, do you want to show Anya? There's something else about that clip. If you notice, Castor isn't nervous, or doesn't appear to be, about his procedure. In kids' animation, portraying anxiety can be complicated. We want to avoid modeling anxiety for kids in certain areas of life on the off chance that we accidentally tell them to be nervous in situations where they might not otherwise be. But the idea of a kid who's on the cusp of a cleft surgery, skipping out on that obligation to go to a carnival, felt like the type of experience that was entertaining for our audience and also authentic to what we went through. I didn't want to do an episode that just explained clefts to children. I wanted a show that gave the experience of a cleft to a bright, fun-loving, and energetic character. We don't pity him, we understand him. In fact, understanding him is the point of this episode. Axel, that's the kid ambulance and one of the main characters of the show, at first can't fathom why this kid keeps finding excuses to skip out on the surgery that he needs and presumably wants. There is a video I think about often. My parents recorded Henry at 7 months, waking up after his second surgery, and this was on his palate. Henry doesn't remember this, but I think about this almost every day. Look at how much he wants to be as close to his parents as possible. What must he have been thinking? To me, this video embodies the need for empathy, to try to understand where another person is coming from, what they've gone through, what they've experienced, and how that colors their behavior and their actions. The effort it takes us to understand others is an ability that I believe we sometimes forget. And stories which at times can feel frivolous, like they do nothing more than pass the time, are actually necessary for our survival, because they help us hone empathy. And practicing empathy helps us gain power, helps us recognize that we can do hard things because someone else did. We are not alone. We have each other. And with this, we wanted to show you the second and last clip from this show. This is the song of the episode. Now, the song is geared toward a preschool audience, but the words are very much inspired by my experience watching Henry's story.
Okay, huddle up, Firebuds. Now, how are we gonna put the brakes on this Ferris wheel?
If Jane launches his J-hook up there, we could all pull on the cable to slow the wheel down.
But it's going so fast, it would probably snap the cable. Not if we use the stretchy bands from the bungee plunge. Those won't break.
Jaden's right. And after we stop the wheel, we can inflate the J-catch and all the folks on the ride can jump safely down.
I'm not sure there's enough room to set up the J-catch. There is if we hold the J-catch up over the railings.
Wham, bam, perfect plan.
Let's get those bungee bands. But even if we stop this thing, Castor's just gonna race off again.
Why?
I don't know. He says he wants the operation, but he won't go back. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, something Poe's mom told me might help you out. If you want to help a friend, here's a place to start. Try to feel what they might feel deep inside their heart. You gotta put yourself in their wheels. Castor's really acting weird.
Castor's wheels, but I still don't get why he would avoid an operation he needs and wants.
All you need to understand Castor's point of view will come when you imagine what he is going through. You gotta put yourself in his wheels. Try and put yourself in his wheels.
Your story matters. Every story we tell, whether it's in cartoon form or not, helps us. Just because a story is made up doesn't mean it's not true. By adding your story to our grand narrative, you elevate us. You make us better. You tell us we are not alone. You make us stronger. Sharing stories marshals our allies. Now, I was not born with a cleft, my son was. So it seems fitting to me that for this speech, given at this wonderful event called Cleft Con, that my son have the final word.
I want to finish the stories I started the last time I spoke. I was nervous about the surgery, but I went through with it anyway, and I have recovered. I was nervous to speak in front of the school board, but I did it anyway, and we got approval for the volleyball pit. Here it is in Burbank. In Taekwondo, I broke the board. I did the voice record, and now I play a Disney character. And I'm giving this speech right now. If I can do these things, and if I can share these stories, then so can you. Your stories are worth sharing. Your stories can help us all. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Susanna, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Jeremy and Henry, for sharing your story with us. Now, don't worry, you'll get to hear more from Henry later today. As Susanna said, we want to hear from each of you throughout the day. You can move from session to session on the agenda tab. And please join me in adding comments and questions to the live chat box next to each video. We'll be sure that our speakers respond to as many of your questions as possible. As Henry said, when we share our story, we feel less alone. So please be sure to introduce yourself to the Cleft Con community with a post in the community chat. Get to know your fellow Cleft Con participants by going to the attendees tab and making a connection. And don't forget to take a selfie in your photo booth. Finally, remember, if you need technical support, please reach out to us at the live help desk. And if you have any general Cleft Con questions, feel free to send an email to cleftcon@smiletrain.org. But most importantly, have a great time.